Good evening, Room 207 students. How are you doing today? Great. I'm here to do your nightly read aloud from Crenshaw, and we are on chapter 25. And here is Rossi, and here's his little panda. See, Evie? Rossi's got a little panda too, a little catnip panda. Maybe that'll make him stay a little sleepy. But today I'm going to go ahead and read to you, and I'm going to have you just think about how, when I'm reading, think about how this chapter makes you feel. How this chapter makes you feel. Okay, and I read ahead a little bit, and it's a very moving chapter, and I want you to think about how it's making you feel. Okay, now remember, it's still in flashback, and Jackson is describing how a time when they were homeless when he was in first grade. Okay, here we go, chapter 25. We drove to a busy corner and parked next to a Starbucks. It was a cool and rainy kind of day. Are you sure about this? My mom asked. Let me join you. Won't be the first time I've played an outdoor concert, my dad said. And you can't come with me. Someone needs to stay with the kids. We waited in the minivan, watching him as he crossed the street. He had his sign and his guitar, but not Aretha. My dad stood on the lane divider by the left-hand turn signal. He propped his thank you sign against his open guitar case. We couldn't hear him singing. There was too much traffic. He needs to make eye contact, my mom said. The light turned red and a line of cars formed next to my dad. Someone beeped his horn and my dad looked over. A driver in a taxi passed him some money. The next time the light was red, a driver in a pickup truck gave my dad coins. When the light turned green, people mostly just passed by, their eyes on the road ahead, but a few smiled or nodded. Red, green, the hour wore on. When he climbed back into our minivan, my dad smelled like car exhaust. He passed my mom a handful of wadded up bills and some coins. 7 lousy bucks and change. It's really starting to come down, my mom said. People don't like to open their windows when it rains. She gazed at the wet dollars. We could try up by the mall. Maybe it's just a bad corner. My dad shook his head. Maybe it's a bad idea. We need the rain, I said, because of the drought and all. Good point, my dad said. Let's look on Jackson's bright side. After a while, the rain slowed to a drizzle. We drove to a park so my mom and Robin could get some fresh air. She said Robin was going stir-crazy. How about you come too, Jackson, my mom asked, as she undid Robin's car seat straps. Nah, too wet, I said. You're both gonna get wet, my dad warned. Robin's getting antsy, my mom said. We can dry our clothes on top of the car when the sun comes out. Day just gets better and better. My mom leaned across the seat and kissed my dad's cheek, which was kind of stubbly. Good times, she said. I stayed in our minivan with my dad. Aretha, who smelled a little ripe, was sleeping in the back. I decided to draw a new sign for my dad, a better one, like the one my mom had made for our bathroom door. I tore some cardboard off the end of my sleeping box. Then I made a smiling fish sitting in a canoe. He was holding a fishing pole and wearing a floppy hat. In big letters, I wrote, I'd rather be fishing. My dad was dozing in the driver's seat. His eyes were closed, but he wasn't snoring, so I knew he wasn't serious. I poked him with my sign. Try this next time, Dad. He blinked, rubbed his eyes, and took the sign from me. For a long time, he just stared. Great job, he finally said. I like the mustache on the trout. Nice touch. Just FYI, rather has an E. And oh, never mind. It's great, kiddo. Thanks. If it gets wet, we can grab some more cardboard and I'll make a new one. My dad set the sign down gently on the passenger seat. Then he opened the door and stepped outside. It was misty. Leaves were shiny and dripping. So I visualize that while I'm reading, because that's a good visual right there. Leaves, misty, leaves shiny and dripping water. Mom says she's only seen my dad cry 3 times. When they got married and when Robin and I were born. I watched my dad lean against the hood of our car and cover his eyes with his hands. His face was damp, but I told myself it was probably just the rain. So as I read that, I get pretty sad for the characters, Jackson and his father, and that is what the writer, Catherine Applegate, is trying to get you to do. She's trying to move you to have empathy and compassion for her character. And that's a trick that writers do. Okay? And I'm going to say good night. And that was it for chapter 25. And tomorrow I will read you chapter 26. All right? You have a good rest of your day.